Do you still visit a classroom to learn new skills? Not anymore. Quick Start now offers a virtual classroom which allows you to interact with live instructors and students to grow your knowledge, skill set, and practical experience through a remote connection. This means you can now get trained from any part of the world. Our seasoned instructors have the experience and practical exposure to provide you with the knowledge, live examples, personal experiences, and tips to help you learn and master new skills.
Good morning and welcome to the presentation of CompTIA A+ certification preparation. The CompTIA organization provides a vendor-neutral certification for IT technologists, and A+ is one of their first certifications. It's been around for almost 20 years, and we're going to go through this course. There are two parts to the course. Preparation for the exam includes the 901 exam, which is a hardware exam, and the 902 exam, which is the operating system side of the exam. Both exams must be passed in order to get the A+ certification. And this week, I'm going to spend time helping you to understand some of the concepts, to spend some time actually configuring some of these things, and generally preparing you to take this exam. If you have experience in the field, which most people do at this point, some experience allows you to gather these concepts more quickly. These are things you may have already done and may have already known, but hopefully we'll give you a little more detail than what you were currently with. So I'm going to introduce myself here, and then I'm going to go through the outline and tell you what to expect, and then we'll get into some more details about the class. As I said, my name's John McGill, and I've been teaching for over 20 years. I teach both CompTIA courses and Microsoft courses. I am certified in server technology and workstation technology and networking, security, and A+ as well as healthcare IT. As I said, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I've been a Microsoft certified trainer for about 17 of those 20 years. And I enjoy delivering this information and helping people get started in the IT field and get some certifications to make getting that job a little bit easier. So that's my background. And let me get into the course outline and give you the expectations about what's coming up next. So in this course, we have 19 lessons, a lot of different lessons here. And when I break this down, I color-code it a little bit. The first three lessons are going to be on fundamentals. And so we'll start with hardware fundamentals, then operating system fundamentals, and then network and security fundamentals. These will give you the basics, and underneath all of those, we will get into the details. Safety and operational procedures begins our look at hardware, and here we'll talk about tools, we'll talk about electrical safety, we'll talk about electrostatic discharge safety, we'll talk about interacting with the end user and the proper procedures for troubleshooting, and then we'll move into the components. And so having done the fundamentals, we know that one of the things we have is an output device called a display device, and oftentimes that requires some troubleshooting. So we'll look at the support and the many different kinds of display devices, and then we'll branch off into peripheral components, which include keyboards and mice, microphones, speakers, things like that. And then we'll look at system components, what's inside the system box, or the system tower sometimes it's called, and we'll look at what's inside, and we'll look at the motherboard, we'll look at the central processing unit, we'll look at how they talk to each other, the buses, and then our memory components and how memory works, the read-only memory and the random access memory, and learn the technical descriptions of all those things that you may be somewhat familiar with. Then we'll move into data storage. Data storage will give us a big picture of data storage, from the largest network storage devices to the smallest little SD cards. Then we shift gears, we move into the operating system. And so we'll look at installing and configuring an operating system. We're going to work in this lab with Windows 7, and then we're going to upgrade it to Windows 8. And then we'll look at how do we optimize those systems to work the best for what we're doing and maintaining them. Then in the last part of this lessons, the other operating systems we'll be covering are the iOS, the Apple Macintosh operating system, and the Unix Linux operating system. And our lab will give us an opportunity to install a Linux desktop operating system and interact with that. So that's part of the operating system. Half of your exam is on that, so we will spend some time there. Then the rest of the technology, we're going to look at customized environments from gaming rigs, as they're called, all the way up to corporate displays with 2, 4, 6 displays that are used, and high-end systems for working with music editing, video editing, things like that, CAD design. So what are those kinds of environments, and what do we need to know to support them? Then we get into networking. We'll spend some time on networking. It's an important part of our exam as well as our daily operations. So we'll look at the networking technologies, particularly TCP/IP, and we'll break down TCP/IP v4 so that you really understand the dotted decimal notation that we have and how it converts into binary. And then we're going to take a brief look at IP version 6 and what's in store for that coming soon. And then we'll get into installing and configuring your networks, including default gateways and DHCP, DNS, things like that. Then we go off into mobile digital devices. Every company now is struggling with, bring your own devices or supplying devices to the users. And so that's a part of what we're doing in terms of support. Some people have to carry 2 devices. So we'll talk about that and some of the unique challenges that brings. Then we'll look at printers and all that comes with that. Laser printers, inkjet printers, thermal printers, impact printers. How do they work? What do we need to know to support them? We'll get into security threats, vulnerabilities, things that we have to protect our end users from inside the corporation and outside the corporation. And we'll look at other security things such as firewalls and intrusion detection and things like that. And then finally, we'll look at troubleshooting system issues come up, not just the hardware, not just the end user, but systematic problems that may cause us some concern. So that's what we're going to cover, lots and lots of information. I just want to point out to you that the book you have will give you several topics for each lesson. Inside of those topics will be reviews and activities that we will do, and I'll assign those to you to do after class. So we'll spend our time lecturing, and I'll cover the material from 1 to 4 lessons at a time, and then I will give you the rest of the day to work on your activities, and I will give you time to do those lab activities as well. At the back of the book, if you want to look back there at this time, you'll see there's a mapping course content to the exam. Great information here. So as you look at the course objectives in your study time and the practice test, you can find where in the book those are located by going to this mapping section. And so if you're looking for firmware upgrades and flashing the BIOS, that's covered in Lesson 8, Topic C. Great information. And this is for the hardware exam, and then the 902 exam, the operating system exam, same thing. All right, if you're looking for upgrade paths, difference between different operating systems, Lesson 9, Topic E. And then there's an index with command reference, a little history, all of those things.
To learn more about this course, review the course outline on quickstart.com and click the hyperlinked modules to view the module recordings.